Hey yo, what's good guys? And today I want to talk about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. So I and a lot of people would like to see Modern Warfare 2 get remastered. I just don't want it to come out the same time another modern Call of Duty come out like Modern Warfare 4. What I would like to see with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, if it does happen, is that you're able to purchase it from the start by itself and not force us to buy a Call of Duty we don't want to play, like what they did with Modern Warfare Remastered. It forced us to buy Infinite Warfare at first and then they sold it by itself. This game needs to happen because the current trend for Call of Duty is going downwards, and because the new games just aren't enjoyable as much, or not a lot of people are having fun with them, and it's because they're adding weird and unusual features to the game, like Specialists. I feel like that was just a terrible idea, and they keep adding it back to the game. Also, the maps are just boring. No one cares for them. Like, I can't recall any of the latest maps in any of the Call of Duties because they're just not memorable. The guns are boring, and like no one cares for them. And the score streaks are so watered down now, like they're just boring and they don't kill anything. And with Modern Warfare 2, you know you're gonna get good guns, or because most guns in the game is viable and you can use them. You know you're gonna get good maps like Favela, Scrapyard, High Rise, Terminal. Like there's a lot of good maps in that game. And you know Modern Warfare 2 score streaks are like the best in the series. You know they can actually kill stuff. So I'm telling you, the game's gonna be good. The only problem with the game is that it is remastered. So pretty much you already played a lot of Modern Warfare 2 before, and it might get old and stale. And that's why they have to add, like updates and slight patches. Not update the game too much, but like slight patches so the game doesn't get boring. Like they add a gun here and there, or add a new map. And I personally would want them to fix, the one-man army new tubing things in the game. A lot of people I could see that wanted to be a true remaster and for them not to touch anything, but I feel like for this game to last a long period, they're gonna have to make some changes, and that has to be one of them. And another reason why this game has to happen is we haven't gotten a modern Call of Duty in such a long time. The modern Call of Duties are my favorite. I just love the modern setting. I guess the reason why we haven't gotten a lot of modern Call of Duties recently because we used to get a lot of them at first, and I guess people started getting bored and tired of modern Call of Duty, so they switched it up, and people want something new, so they gave them futuristic setting. But then they just, dragged out the future settings and made so many games on it. Now people are starting to get bored and tired of it. Then they came up with World War II, and at first that game was pretty bad, but after like a year of like patches and updates, the game's pretty good. But it's a year later, and no one really cared about it because they hopped off the game when the game was bad and decided never to play it again. And recently with Call of Duty, their games have been subpar at launch, but at least with Modern Warfare 2, we know what we're gonna get at launch. It's gonna be a good game, and then with a couple of updates, the game's gonna get better. And speaking about updates, the game does need to receive constant updates, to stay fresh. And the updates just going to be based off community feedback, adding game modes like the community wants and making balances and changes based off the community, and that will affect and benefit the majority of the community. And the one thing I'm hoping with this game, and pretty much for every Call of Duty, is that the DLCs are free. Obviously, they're going to slide in their microtransactions through supply drops and other methods, but at least give us free DLCs. Because, DLC map pack, all they do is just divide up the community within the game even more. And by giving free DLCs, this would improve the relationship between, the community and Activision. And this would actually have some people actually support their microtransactions if they gave us free DLCs. And that's pretty much the end of the video. I do have some extra Xbox Live codes and Game Pass codes, the ones you get when you buy a new console or controller. So I could give those away to people. Also, there's a gifting system in Fortnite. I could gift people skins if they want. Just let me know. And like and subscribe, and peace. And I was talking about the giving away stuff at the end of the video, just to reward people, that stays at the end of the video and watch the video throughout. So, oh yeah, peace.
Authorizing UAV release.
Another win for the Accord. RTB.
What? It's over? Already?